In the 88-78 win over Elmhurst College, Cardinal Tyler Bance was a game changer. Playing in just his 5th game of the season, the sophomore guard hit 3 3-pointers during a 3-minute stretch, extending North Central's lead from 6 to 13 points. Bance finished the game shooting 100% from the field, showing us a glimpse of the future during his game-changing performance. Senior guard Reid Barringer finished his career as the Cardinals' all-time leader in 3-pointers made. Reid, does that sound kind of good to hear?
Yeah, obviously it was a goal coming into as a freshman when I came in here, knowing that my strengths were shooting the 3-pointer, and so you know, I was given good opportunities freshman, sophomore, and obviously junior and senior year, and I tried to make the most of it, and you know, I was fortunate enough to break the record, and it's a good feeling knowing I worked so hard for something like that.
Certainly. And now you see sophomore Kevin Gillespie and Tyler Bance kind of moving their way up the Cardinal program. Do you see them as kind of similar players as yourself?
Absolutely. When I came in more as a scorer from high school, and I think with especially Tyler, he really showed a lot of that in the JV games that he played in, because it was like he'd take the nets off every time he played in those games, and then he came into the varsity. As soon as he got a chance in the varsity games, he didn't skip a beat. Starting in Carthage, where he hit a couple of really big buckets down in Kenosha, and then against Elmhurst, it was like I don't even think he hit the rim. They were all nothing but net. So I think there's a bright future for both him and Kevin.
Reid, earlier this year, you scored a career-high 44 points versus Rockford. Was that kind of just the perfect game for you?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I came in, you know, feeling good and hit a couple of jump shots in the first half, but the second half, really, I don't know, it was like I got in the zone, and it wasn't just the threes that I was making or anything like that. I was getting to the free throw line. I was able to hit a couple of pull-ups, and yeah, it was just a game that I seemed to be in the zone.
You're 16th all-time, the career scoring mark for North Central College with 1,122 points. Only 22 Cardinal players have scored over 1,000 points. Is that kind of an elite group? Do you still keep in contact with some of those guys?
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to play with 3 of them, with Dan Walton, Anthony Simmons, and then Chris Drennan. I was able to play with him for 3 years. So knowing the caliber of players they are, and I know Dan and Anthony are at like 6 and 7, so that, you know, they're great quality of players, and I feel very fortunate to be, you know, have my name up with some of those guys.
Absolutely. Junior forward Brian Evans turned in 3 double-double performances this season, with the latest coming in the Elmhurst game. Brian, let's just talk about that. It seems like every time our cameras were out there, you're putting together some really impressive games. You had the double-double against the Blue Jays. You had 11 points, 12 rebounds against North Park earlier in the year, and 18 points and 11 boards the first time around versus Elmhurst. Just kind of talk about those games. What allowed you to put together such great numbers?
Well, as you guys know, most of the defensive pressure goes on Derek and Reid from the opponent, so I usually just try to take whatever the defense gives me. I like to get a rebound and just push the ball as much as possible and really just take whatever they give me. So they take a lot of the pressure off of players like me and David, so we just take what we can get.
Talking about running the ball, it seems like your running mate is DJ Twyman, just getting up and down the court. Do you guys have kind of a little connection there, being able to find each other in transition?
Yeah, we both like to take off and just get down the court as fast as possible. Obviously, I can't finish like David, but I just try to keep up with him and try to get some easy layups.
And now next year, having to go into the season, you'll be a senior. Twyman will not be on the team. What are your thoughts just kind of looking ahead towards the future?
Well, yeah, that's kind of tough shoes to fill, but I'd like to try to be the energy player that David provided for us this year. Just be the guy that plays tough defense and gets the ball up the court like DJ did for us this season.
Now there's 2 other juniors on this year's roster, Mike Winans and Mike Saris. Both are returning next year to be seniors with you?
Yes, that's right. Mike Saris had an injury early in conference this year, so he's a point guard for us that has a lot of potential. And then Mike Winans played in the majority of our games this year too, so he brings back some good experience.
You know, Brian, looking at the CCIW postseason tournament, Carthage is a #1 seed, Wheaton #2, Illinois Wesleyan, then Augustana. Do you feel like any of those 4 teams are better suited to finish off that tournament as tournament champions?
All 4 of the teams are pretty deep and pretty talented. Possibly Wheaton just because of their defensive aspects of their team. They're a real tough defensive team, and Carthage is also real good, so I would say probably those are the 2 favorites.
Coach, throughout the entire season, did the game plan change a little bit to get these guys off and running a little bit more?
Well, I think so. I think, you know, as the season progressed, you saw that we went maybe from a half-court offensive team to a more of a full-court offensive team. And like they said, that, you know, when you have guys that can put the ball on the floor and that can get it off the glass and go and push the basketball, you almost have to change your philosophy. And you know, I think we were one of the most, some 70, some high 70s as far as offensive production in the conference, which was probably first in the conference. Our defense was probably not as good as what we would like, but you know, we did a nice job of transition offense.
And just real quick, Coach, senior Reid Barringer gone from the program after this year. He's one of those guys that you've been able to rely on, like we said, over 60 games started for you.
Well, he is, and he stretches the defense, and that's the thing that's so important for you is in your offense, is somebody that can stretch the defense, that they have to move out, they have to cover, and that opens up a lot of lanes for the other kids to get things done. And you know, they just basically tagged him all the way wherever he went. He was tagged, and you know, that's frustrating from if you're a player. You know, that's frustrating to always have somebody, and we tried to run him off as many screens as we could. You know, Reid got, as the years went on, I mean, he improved his offense as far as reading the screens, and that's something that was very valuable for us this year.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best. I know you got recruiting coming up before next season. Brian, good luck in your senior year next year, and Reid, we wish you all the best.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Stay tuned as Clark Tusher joins us to talk about the Regional Wrestling Championships. We'll be right back.